Hey guys, what's up? This is the after show for Lifetime TV's Married at First Sight, Honeymoon Island. We are breaking down episodes 2 and 3 tonight, and we are talking about Jocelyn coming back, and people are sleeping on couches. You do not want to miss the juiciness.
You're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
Yes, give me the sexy honeymoon music.
Oh yeah. You have to go to a honeymoon with a smooth operator.
I mean, there is a smooth operator that we are going to discuss on this show. He is really showing his true colors, I think. Or we're going to talk about it. But you guys, we are here at AfterBuzz TV. We are breaking down episodes 2 and 3. Allie was the host last week. We were not here, sadly, but next week, the band will be together. We will all be here. I am Lauren Leonelli, and this is...
Hi, I'm Jenifer Golden.
And we are here to break down, like we said, episodes 2 and 3 of Honeymoon Island, Married at First Sight. This is different than Married at First Sight, the original.
Right.
So these people have been kind of picked in a way that they will they kind of match on paper, but they are allowed to then pick who they want to be with based on chemistry.
Right, and that is what Allie covered last week. So now they've matched themselves, which I think is really interesting because they've given themselves the gift of choice.
Yes.
But they have these two awesome guides that help them along the way.
Which are very helpful. One is a pastor, and one is like a love doctor.
Right. And so between the two of them, they help everyone sort their shit out. Oops, so sorry. But you know what I mean.
You know what? The stuff. The stuff. They get in there. And they get real, too, by the way.
Oh, they do.
They do, which is helpful because this is a 3-week process. They ain't got no time to waste.
No, they got to maximize every moment to find love or figure out that they're not right for each other, but hopefully make it work. So we now have 5 couples.
Yes.
Right. And so they are...
Yes. So we're going to go through episode 2, The Sweet Life, and episode 3, Breakdown to Breakthrough. But we are going to basically just hit a couple and go through their journey of these 2 episodes.
Right.
Yes.
Because we love them and we want them to find love. So
yes, and they're on their honeymoon.
Yeah. So
they're
basically,
working backwards a little bit.
It's weird, but you know what? I would go on a free trip to find love. Why not?
Yeah, and they're
That's
in
a
like
great
St.
story.
Martin, or where is that where they are? I think they are.
No, St. Bart's? No.
Somewhere real pretty with blue water.
Exactly.
Tropical.
Like Sade's music. So our first couple is Shannon and Kimber.
Okay. So first of all, what is your very first impression of Shannon and Kimber? Do you feel? I feel as though. So this is the couple that is. They don't know if they're having a problem with one wants to have kids and one does not.
Right. Kimber does not want to have kids, and Shannon does. And although they talk about it, they still don't see eye to eye and choose. So basically the idea of episode 2 is that they're all choosing whether to stay in a hotel suite or not together and like join on this honeymoon romance in the same room.
By the end of the episode, they have picked if they are staying in the suite together or not.
Right.
And if they don't want to do that, they have to go home.
Right.
That's
so
it.
These two choose to stay in a suite together despite several conversations about her not wanting to have kids and him wanting to have kids.
Do you feel like Shannon is a little aggressive? I feel like he is constantly like trying to like put himself on her, and she is really I feel like she's very cerebral, right? Like she's like, I really want to like talk to everybody and I really want to figure this out, and she's extracting the emotion, which I think is hard to do. When someone asks you to go on chemistry and how you feel about somebody, you kind of throw all that out the window. You're like, I really like this person and they don't care. You paint the red flags white and you're like, they're cute and I just want to be whenever, everything's fine.
Right.
Kimber does not do that. She's like, I'm really being kind of like in my head about this and I want to be logical. And I feel like Shannon's sort of like getting a little physically aggressive, not in like a threatening way, but he's like putting the moves on.
Well, they were the first couple, I think, to kiss in the water.
They were.
And so I just find it odd that they would choose to stay together when they want very, very, very different things in their life. And like, it's not like one person eats red meat and one is a vegan. One person wants to bear children and the other doesn't.
Yeah.
So those two people, you know, if we were looking at this objectively, which we are, would not make it They would not last.
No, that's a big. Although I do think that when you first meet somebody and they say, you know, I'm on, like, she wasn't so black and white about it at first. She was like, I don't know, it's a really big lifestyle change. Like, she kind of tiptoed around it.
Right.
And then she got into it a little bit more in episode 3 to breakdown to breakthrough, where she was like, I really actually don't want this. And so it became a little more clear to me. I think this is going to be their issue. They did decide to stay in the suite together in episode 2, and then this issue became very present in their, it seemed to be pushing them apart a little. Like, she became uncomfortable with him and he became like, well, we kind of need to talk about this, because you're right. If that's something that you disagree with, like, how are you gonna, if somebody comes into a relationship and is like, I don't know about kids, and then you fall in love with someone and you're like, you know what, actually, if this is something you really want, I'm a little bit more indifferent about it, but let's make it happen. That's different. This is not the case.
This is like a staunch opinion that is, I mean, you don't make someone have kids if they don't want to have kids, like, or you don't make someone else not have kids because you don't want kids.
No.
Like, you don't deprive somebody of these life choices.
Oh, it's a big thing.
Yeah, so I don't know. We'll get into our segment later where we give these couples advice.
Yes.
But it seems like
I'm on the fence about them right now.
Yeah, I was on the fence about them from the get-go with the whole kid thing.
I am too. I feel kind of like they felt like they sort of just ended up together more out of happenstance, but they're both so open. I think he is really attracted to her and she's just like more in her head, cerebral about it.
She did say, though, that like he's everything she wants.
That's true.
And that like he's so her type. And I mean, if you put them in a lineup, I would have never put those two together.
No, I wouldn't, but
ever.
You know what? Maybe they'll surprise us. Maybe they'll come, because there are some other couples that seem like they're really like a perfect match made in heaven, but we've seen this happen before. It's called it burns out real quick.
Right. It's the fast burn, not the
fast
slow
burn, not the slow burn.
There's probably a better term for the fast burn.
I don't know. We're going to make that up for now.
Okay,
But
it's the fast
that's
burn.
how it feels, right?
If you guys are watching and you want to talk to us in the chat, you should tell us what the actual term for hurrying up to get into a relationship is.
It's like when you meet someone, love at first sight, and it's like everything's like really hot and heavy, and then it doesn't hold. It fizzles out quick because you're really focusing on this like sexual chemistry maybe and not other things. And this is what the show is trying to do. They're trying to make people pay attention, these couples pay attention to their chemistry, but then also figure out if this is something that they can now pay attention to other things like common ground and things
like
that are going to be long lasting.
Each episode is basically going to touch on different areas of a relationship now that they've matched on chemistry.
Yes.
So
like, chemistry, you can't do anything about that.
Right. And so they've strategically placed these people there, but like at this point now it's up to them. TM in our chat room said that they should have parted ways because to have kids versus not is a deal breaker when you're not on the same page. I mean, I agree, TM, obviously.
I kind of feel like it, yes, you're not wrong about that. Okay, who's our next couple that we're going to break down?
Tyler and Isabella.
Okay, so this is a couple that is completely and totally all chemistry.
Oh, yeah. But they've never kissed, which is so weird.
Well, they did finally, but it was really kind of lame.
Right.
But they did do a lot of talking about how this isn't happening, and then and Jonna got into that as well. I do think that it's a social experiment, if you will, so we are going to be focusing on some things that aren't sort of real life, but like they were very heavily focused on what their physical pace was, and it was a little weird. But this couple, as soon as this dude walked in, Isabella was like locked eyes on this dude, and he was like super into her, and they instantly gravitated towards each other. They did not leave each other's side. They were the obvious choice at first,
which to me as a viewer was not that obvious, but
well, I mean, I think in comparison to how other people were gravitating towards each other, this was like they were instant. Like, they just started talking. She was very open about, oh my God, this guy's so my type, blah, blah, blah. And he was like kind of giddy over her. And they just hit it off instantly. And they then they showed up together to pick each other. They were for sure going to be in the suite together. And, they to me, they were a quick connection, but it made me weary because of what we're talking about with the slow burn versus the quick love at first sight, if that is sustainable. And to me, my like haunches went up, and I was like, this isn't gonna last.
What's a haunch?
It's like, on a dog when their hackles and their fur go up. Their
Haunches and hackles, everyone.
Yes.
That's the name of a new bar.
It's haunches and hackles.
I know, that's good. I'll open it.
Okay, great. I'll be your
Where
partner.
you can bring your dog
Yeah.
and hang out
In the dog
on
house.
dates. In the dog house.
with your-
There should be a bar called the Dog House.
There is.
Oh.
Yeah. Anyway, it's when the fur on their back stands up, like when they're alerted.
Yes.
It's like when you're like, oh my God, I'm alerted about this thing.
I see.
It alerted me. I'm like, ooh, they really like each other, but like, is this gonna stand the test of time?
Well, and then, so in the second episode, obviously we see that they choose to stay together.
Yes.
But he has to stay on the couch.
a lot of couples did this, and I thought it was
Right.
very respectful.
I did too, because it was day 2 that they had to
Right.
make this choice.
Even though they only have a 3-week process, so like you got to speed it up a little bit. But like, this was kind of starting to show us that Isabella she's got some like rules. She's like rule heavy. She's like got boundaries, which
Oh,
I don't
my
think are
goodness.
bad, but like I kind of want to like give her a shot of tequila and tell her to like take a deep breath. Although I should probably be taking my own advice.
Well, we know how you feel about tequila, so
I don't like tequila.
No.
But I'm just saying I think she could relax a little is what
She
I'm saying.
could. And I mean, for whatever reason, he's all about her, which is great. And at some point between episode 2 and 3, it's all a blur because it was so fun. And I just watched one into the next, and I
binge
obsessed.
watched.
So he basically says that she makes him a better person.
And I think that's important. I think that somebody does need to motivate you, and you need to be able to start paying attention to these things within this chemistry that's happening. And I feel like they felt right at first. I'm just nervous about that.
I'm nervous too for a couple reasons. One, he said something about he leaves the toilet seat up, and she literally comes and finds him and
she
makes
had a
him put it
problem
down.
with the loofah in the season before.
Right. And so she seems real picky as you dive in. So when you see her and him doing some sort of like, not parasailing, what is it? Like, what's that
paddle
board?
boarding.
That thing.
Paddle boarding.
Like, they finally, after moving in together, which is like so backwards, she asked him about his upbringing.
Yeah.
Like, what have you been talking about this whole time? And what are you into about each other?
And also, they're
His upbringing,
very different backgrounds.
They're both so different.
But that's okay, though.
Do you not get the sense that she's mothering him a little bit?
Maybe she is, and maybe that's her jam, and maybe he wants to be mothered, and maybe that'll work. And it's
Maybe.
okay to be picky, you guys. It is okay to be picky.
Yes, but
and
it seems like she's nitpicky.
it might be, but if she is picky, it's okay, because guess what else you should be picky about? Your podcast, people, and the things that you listen to, and where you tune in online and on YouTube, Jen.
And guess what, guys? Our network produces after shows for nearly all of your favorite TV shows.
All you picky little TV showers.
You might have even seen us cover some of them, like Amazon's Forever. And
We did
Love at First
Flight.
which is not Love at First Sight, but very close. So, guys, we've got from dramas to reality TV, sci-fi, and more. There is no network, none, that works harder to serve television fans like you. But we need your help. We're asking that you please subscribe to one or more of our YouTube channels. You're watching, obviously, the reality channel right now, because that's how you found us. But by subscribing to our channel, YouTube will suggest content that is tailor-made for you, and you'll help AfterBuzz continue to grow, which is amazing. And if you're worried about pesky notifications, don't be, because they're optional. We give you choices here, just like the channels. So hit that subscribe button now for this channel, the reality channel, and check out our other AfterBuzz TV YouTube channels as well. And let us know you did in the comments, and we'll thank you on air. For now, thanks for being the best fans and for helping us be the ESPN of TV talk.
I mean, this show feels like a sport. It's like, who's going to win? Who's going to get the ring?
This
Who's
is
gonna...
definitely a winning
There's
situation.
a sporting element to this, you guys. And, okay, so Isabella and what's his name with the reddish hair? I can't decide if he has
Tyler.
red hair or not. Tyler. I mean, yeah, I feel like she's slightly uptight. She's been on TV before. He's a little weird about it. And this show.
He had an audition, though, because all of these people... they had auditioned in the past and they were not selected, or they were selected and went on and didn't.
We need to remember that he's on the show now, too. They're
Right.
all in the same place. They're all looking for the same thing. This couple worries me a little. We will see what happens. They worry me a little. Okay, who is next?
Jonna and Brandon with an I.
Brandon, I like that name for a girl.
Same. It's really growing
Putting
on
that
me.
in my repertoire. So speaking of walls, right? We said Isabella had some walls. This girl has got some mage walls.
I think just episode 3 was named after her.
It was like legit. I'm scared. Jonna, first of all, thought his name was Jonah. Jonna.
I don't understand. So maybe his name is Jonathan, and they were like, what's short for Jonathan? Not John.
Jonna.
Jonna.
He is
Hot.
he is
My
a
type.
sneak attack to me.
Why?
Because I at first was like, I don't understand. And then the more this guy speaks, and he's knows himself very well. I feel like he's the oldest guy in the group and in his mid-30s. And I just feel like he knows what he wants. And I think that Brandon is cool, and she's very driven and very focused, and I think that's like sexy, and she's attractive, and so I think that's great. But I think that she needs to break down the wall. She can't even talk to the love doctor without being like, I don't like having these deep conversations, and instantly breaking down into
Which
tears.
is a weird choice then to go on a TV show about love and talking.
Maybe she's really trying to challenge herself, and this challenge is really breaking her. And I think that she has the potential. He has the potential with his emotional capabilities to help her.
Who would have thought, though? I
this.
gotta say, he's really cute in my
He's
eyes.
very
He's very
cute.
much my type.
Very cute.
But I would have pegged him, and this is my own issue, as like a player type. That
Chris is the player. Let's
yes, but
or they're making
him out to be.
yeah.
But so I would have seen Jonna as that type, and to hear him speak about his own experiences, what he's looking to get out of this, how he treats her, how he looks at her, and what he wants, and all of that is like so remarkable to me, because it's really like you cannot judge a book by its cover.
Yeah.
And hearing his opinion as a guy, and him speak so highly of her as to what he's looking for, I think is a lesson to us all, if you're watching this as a female, that men are looking at what we present as our picture, whether we are, you know, impressive in our careers, whether we are confident individuals. Like, I think it's very interesting to hear the other side of the coin as a female, and he gives it pretty straight, and like
he does give it pretty straight,
really
and it's like, be a little gentler on yourself. Like, he's seeing her for her, and he's accepting her, all of her her flaws and her positive everything. And I think it's a little more difficult for her, but I think she's much younger, and there's some walls there. He has been through some stuff. He opens up. So her mother comes, right? Her mother
because she had that whole breakdown.
She had that whole breakdown, and they brought. So I think this show, we're gonna expect to see some of this. I think,
like, surprise
if
people.
If somebody is having an issue, they're gonna try their best, because I do really feel like the show wants these people to succeed, so they're gonna help them succeed. They're not setting them to fail.
No, and we have a podcast called It's Complicated right here on AfterBuzz TV. One show before this one. Tune in at 6. But what we always say is it takes a village. To date and have relationships and basically live life. So they present you with this village. Basically, they have the psychologist or psychiatrist, I forget what she is. They have the pastor, who's like a marriage counseling person.
Right.
And
all of the people you're with.
Well, also, like, in certain religions, you have to actually go to a person that helps you through things, and you have to meet with that person a certain amount of time. So I'm assuming that's like what his basic job is. But so it makes sense to bring in, like, even on, what is it, something about Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, you get to phone a friend, you get all these other options. So to bring in her mom to help her figure this out
in a moment where she really, really needed it was, I think, important. It really did help her kind of get over that hump. And Jonna was like very nervous about all of a sudden having to meet her mother, and you could tell that this meant he cared. This was a moment for him that was a big deal. He wanted to put on his best foot forward. He had no mental preparation, which would have totally freaked me out. He said he was like, I was sweating. Meanwhile, right before this, he's saying, like, why am I talking about holding hands with this person? Like, this is so elementary to me. This is really, he was starting to get really confused. She was putting up walls. Her mother comes in and really helped the situation. I mean, it could have gone either way.
Right.
She really helped the situation. I think they kind of made a breakthrough, and I feel like this couple is looking a little more positive towards the end of episode 3 than I thought.
Same, but it makes me sad that it took a breakdown and her mom to come because of, like, he just seems like he obviously chose her, and he's giving her the signs that he's in it. And I'm more sad, I think, because I think he deserves somebody that's ready, and she doesn't seem ready.
But maybe he's the type of personality who can handle somebody like her who has it in her somewhere. It's just a little deeper.
I guess, and we'll potentially
he seems
see
very
them grow.
emotionally deep to me.
Yes, I do maybe think his patience might run out, but we can talk about that in prediction.
Okay, great. All right, who's the next couple? Couple number 4.
Hold on, let me refer back to my handy notes.
There are so many, and I get names wrong all the time, guys.
Okay,
So
Chris and Jada. Since you're dying to talk about Playboy Chris.
Okay, wait, hold on.
Yes.
Who's the other couple that we're missing besides Chris
Eric and girl whose name I can't remember.
Okay, let's talk about Eric and the girl with the reddish
Anthony
hair.
will tell us.
If somebody can remember her name, chime in. They are flying under the radar because they're really mellow, both of them. They feel to me like they found each other because they're like, we're very technical and we're ticking off these boxes. And
so boring.
I wouldn't have placed him with her, but I would have thought she would have went for him, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
I feel like he is sort of like kind of standoffish and like she seems more of the aggressor to me. She's not aggressive, but she's kind of like, he is my type. And like she kind of went for him, and he seems... She loves that he's well-traveled. They make sense on paper. Both of the specialists, the experts, have said they make sense. I feel like my instinct says when they got to the suite together and he was like, I'm sleeping on we're already here? Okay, I guess. Yeah, I'm on the couch tonight. Like, I don't want to judge, but it feels to me like he's like having a hard time thinking about her in a sexual way.
I don't blame him. And our fans that are talking in the chat room says, Luann actually says Eric's not into her. And
I don't think he
TM
is.
agrees. And I think we all agree.
What is her name, guys? Oh my God.
What is her? Does anyone even... I'm not into her.
I am the worst at this. I get names wrong all the time. I'm surprised I even know your name.
Oh, I'm Jen.
And I'm not Jen.
No.
So, but it's hard. But whoever this girl is, I feel like he's not into her. Maybe, hold on,
Someone tell us her
I will
name.
say this. Maybe they will be the slow burn.
And that's what I think. And then I'm going to be like, what do I know about love? Obviously nothing if these two end up together.
Grow together. This show talks a lot about like growing love and like that. They may do that, and they may end up being really compatible because they do have a lot of commonalities on paper.
Sure.
And this, if there is some passion and chemistry that like can grow between them, then maybe they could be.
Fine, but then I'm doing it all wrong. Is all I have to say.
The editing of the show is not focusing on them totally because they're not as exciting.
They're so not
and
dramatic.
They may end up being very exciting and very fun to watch.
I feel like they sit at home and play Rummy Cube.
But
and
really
you know what, game, but it's very
Rummy
boring.
Cube is very fun. But to me, I feel like they're a couple to look out for. Because I think that there are some things that make a lot of sense, and they've talked a lot about traveling, they've talked a lot about their backgrounds, and to me, my final say on them is that she is more attracted to him than he is to her, but that it may end up equaling out.
Maybe, but they do feel like a couple that might shop for doilies.
And they chose each other in the suite. Yes, he's sleeping on the couch, and they're like just everything seems normal right now. There's nothing like to be worried about. I don't think.
They're like that family that has like a photo that everyone's matching and they wear khakis.
They might. Oh God, please don't do that if
And
you
they
get
shop for
married. If
doilies.
they end up together, okay. Okay, now let's get to the juiciest couple.
Finally, Chris and Jada.
Okay,
not Jocelyn.
Okay,
However.
Jada, not Jocelyn, but confusing. So, the end of episode 2, Jocelyn comes back. It makes Jada uncomfortable, clearly, because she's like, well, what the hell am I supposed to do? Say, I am not okay with you guys talking like we've known each other for 12 hours, but also I'm not okay with you guys talking.
Right.
She already feels this weirdness because he had a hard time deciding it was her. So now the foundation of their relationship's got a little cracks in it. She's like, am I really the one he wants?
Listen, Jada, I'd be confused too.
Feel the same way, and the experts are both like, this is a problem already. But he ends up talking to Jocelyn and is like, listen, my daughter is very important to me, and I see Jada with my daughter and being a mother figure to my daughter. When I look at Jada, he gets emotional. He feels like he sees his daughter in Jada. and he ends up, and because their conversation consisted of his relationship with his daughter and Jocelyn didn't bring her up at all, he pointed this out. And I do feel like he seems like a player. He looks like a player because he's so good looking. The show's...
I mean, I don't think so.
Oh, I think he is very attractive, but that is my type.
Oh. Well, he's not my type, but I guess he's their type.
He's hot.
Two people's type. So if he's two people's type, he's obviously the player of the group because
I feel like
no one else has two
they're
people
kind
fighting
of
over him.
focusing on this because they've got to do this to make the story interesting. But he also is coming off that way. So like where there's smoke, there's fire, right? Like he's got these two girls kind of fawning over him.
But he goes and picks the girl who talks about his daughter.
And I
which
love
is
that.
So amazing. And when they did that in the first episode where they're like, okay, pick the person who, when you close your eyes, you envision like walking down the aisle. And I was like, oh my God, he like knew and went and got her. And I was a little scared he was going to make the wrong choice.
Oh, I thought he was going to pick Jocelyn.
Yeah, same. And that's why I was a little afraid. But then he picked Jada, and I was like, yay, but also you just put that girl through torture to like make her wait to be picked.
But
and where were
this
these
show,
people hiding that
but
they were
this
off
show
being picked?
is, I mean, listen, you're taking the risk of this happening because
Right.
this show is that. It's like a 3-week competition, if you will, to like get in there and like lay it all out there and make a decision under pressure, which they're all going to feel pressured at some point. His pressure was
Day
there.
one to
His
pick
pressure
someone.
was day one. Some people felt the chemistry instantly, like Isabella and Tyler. Some people it took a second. That doesn't mean that they're a player. That means like that's realistic. Like I don't really know. I've only had one conversation with you.
Right.
So I don't know. Like I think you're attractive,
it's like musical chairs, literally, but on Honeymoon Island.
but that it's very much so. But that is a very good thing to think about, to ask yourself, all you single people out there, people who are dating, like if you're in a situation where you've got something with somebody and something with somebody else and you're trying to figure it out, ask yourself the bigger picture questions. Do you see this person in A, B, or C situation?
Right.
What are your boundaries? What are your qualifications? Do they fit in this? Ask yourself those big, simple questions and everything probably will fall into place. It sounds like Chris did that.
I'm glad he did, and then I'm also glad, I mean, that he gave Jocelyn the respect of like her time and
Yes.
telling her like the truth and like, listen, this is what happened, and gave her essentially closure. I don't love that she came back on because she should sort of just respect the decision and like.
But I do feel
She was
like
misled,
Yes,
so I
she
get
was.
that.
Yes, I do feel like there were some questions for her that were valid, but yes, they brought her in like the villain to come shake things up, and he put that fire out very quick.
And I love Jada setting her boundaries. She's like, nope, we're not going to talk about this anymore. Let's get drinks
That was
and
good.
move on.
I
and
thought
she
that was
didn't
good.
act like a jealous, catty girl. She was super mature, and she's like, you know what? Even in the first episode, she was like, if he wants me, he wants me. And like, if he doesn't, then that's that.
And listen, you need to pay attention to that. It's only far if you don't want to be there. And I think she is realizing that she's got some qualities that are great. And if it's not something he wants, then that doesn't mean that she's not good enough. It just means she's not the one for him. But
Right.
It's starting to feel a little bit like maybe towards the end of episode 3, I started to feel more like Chris was more into her than I thought he was going to be.
Same. Like
Yeah.
the way that they both describe their feelings, even though we don't see it, which is a little hard because like all we hear are words, we don't see actions. Like
Yet, even though they talked about the 5 love languages a lot in episode 3,
Yeah.
which we talk about on our show, It's Complicated, it is a real thing to say, like, I speak this love language, but I give this one.
Right.
And
a lot of these couples talked about like their affection level and like what they need and what they want. And I think just quickly going back to Brandon and Jonna, like Brandon is not affectionate, she said, and she thinks it's
No.
super weird that Jonna's so affectionate, but we've come to find out there's a reason why he's so affectionate. So like the fact that they're having these conversations and figuring each other out can lead to success, but we'll see if we get there.
so, you guys, the 5 languages of love
Yeah.
are words of affirmation, physical touch, receiving gifts, quality time, and acts of service. They talked about all of them. All of the couples on the show expressed what they felt they love language was that they spoke and what they received. And Chris and Jada talked a lot about this. They really do kind of measure up a lot more than I thought they would. Like
do Do you think they're going to make it? I guess we'll talk in predictions.
We're getting close to that time. Okay, we are getting close to that time. To wrap them up, they were the juiciest for sure. He is the hottest to me, and I wasn't rooting for them at first, and now am.
Listen, I think he's really looking for someone.
I do
like
too.
It also, for you to go on this show, I think you must be. So I think we have to stop seeing him as a player.
Having a child would do that to you. So if you're dating out there and you're dating someone with a child, pay attention to that because it changes some things.
Yeah, because obviously that's a thing he's looking for. He wanted somebody that was going to ask him about his daughter.
And he cried about it, and I don't think he's that good of an actor.
No, he said he looks at Jada and sees his daughter, like you said. It's a lot. And that is
cute.
So cute. Yes. I can't even handle it.
Should we get into some predictions?
Well, we just went through a whole breakdown, so yes.
I think we should. I think we should predict. Because,
okay, Jen. Now, your AfterBuzz TV prediction.
All right, who was the first couples that we broke down? God, you're making me do. Okay, well, you know what? Let's go. First of all, let's go with Tyler. Let's go with Tyler and Isabella.
Okay.
My prediction
Shannon
is
and Kimber.
Okay. Shannon and Kimber. Okay. You know what? I don't think they're not gonna. He really physically wants her, and she's too cerebral. They're not gonna. She's gonna leave.
No, I think
she's gonna leave. That's my prediction.
They have sex and they're good on chemistry level, but I think ultimately it's gonna become a real issue when they start getting into the meatier subjects each episode of
and the kids.
Right.
It's gonna be a problem.
Makes a relationship talking to the therapist and talking to the pastor, and it's gonna start coming up. And I do think you're right. I think she's going to leave because she's not going to be able to give that to him, and it's going to be too much for her.
She's going to leave.
Bye.
Okay.
Bye, Kimber.
Next up.
Tyler and Isabella.
Tyler and Isabella, their passion for each other and chemistry is so strong, they're going to be the first to, really hit the wall and have, a huge disagreement. Will they last? I'm still unsure about that, but are they going to be the first couple to, have a breakdown? Yes.
I think, too, that they're going to crash and burn because they are so different in how they were raised and who they are. And also the slow path that they're on, the fact that, they're saying all of this stuff, they're so emotional, but they, literally just kissed.
Yeah.
I think there's,
it's not matching up.
Nothing is it makes me physically uncomfortable to hear that it's almost like they're like a church couple that's, in love that doesn't have sex.
Oh, I can't.
I can't either.
No,
so that's why I'm concerned. And she's got too many, rules.
Yeah, too many rules.
So
she needs to.
His emotions are going to become too much. Her rules are going to become too much. And I think they're going to crash and burn and goodbye. How about Jonna and Brandon?
Jonna and Brandon. Okay, I think my prediction for them is Jonna is going to pull. She seems so closed off. I think he's going to pull her out. And I think could be a front runner.
I think that they might do a sneak attack, but then I think ultimately he might get sick of these walls.
Okay, so you think he might go?
I think he might go.
I could get on board with that.
I could actually, I don't know. I feel like Brandon and Isabella
You just want to
date
Jonna. Oh, Brandon and Isabella.
Good
call.
Right.
Oh, yeah, they could.
If they were to become lesbians, I think they should. Because those two have the similar sentiment, rules and walls and things.
Sure. Okay, I could get on board with that.
I don't know that this is part of the show, but I made it.
Okay.
Okay, last but not least.
Did we miss
Oh, no, Eric and that other girl.
Eric and that other girl. Honestly.
Her name looks like Judith.
Yes, it's something.
Janice.
Her. Kim.
I don't know her name.
No. I think that they are not going to make it. They're not somebody I'm paying attention to, but I think they're going to come in and they're going to be a little more solid than we think.
But I don't think
they're going to stand. Yeah. Yes, they're going to fly under the radar. They're under the radar.
Because I almost feel like they're friends.
Yes.
So they know how to get through this long enough to stay for a vacation. That's 3 weeks.
They're gonna be besties.
Yeah, and again, where this whole thing happens, where one person sleeps on the couch and one person sleeps in the bed,
they're never gonna be in the bed together.
Right. I don't think that's. I don't even think we've seen them kiss, have we?
Goodbye. No, but she likes him, but he's not gonna let that happen. I think he's done. Okay.
Chris and Jada.
I don't know. I'm afraid to predict because I really want them to pull through, but the jury is out. I feel like my instinct says they're going to crash and burn.
I think they're going to make it through the end of the show, but I don't know that they're going to make it after the show.
Yeah, it's only 3 weeks, guys. If they can't do that, then they can't do nothing.
Yeah, but they're going through all these trials and tribulations.
They are going through all these trials and
I
tribulations.
wonder if his daughter's going to show up on the island.
Oh my God, maybe. Jen, if you could give one couple advice, because we give people advice on our show, It's Complicated. complicated. What couple do you feel right now you need to like tell them what to do?
Okay. Well, really just two couples.
Okay,
So
go.
more than one.
Sure.
I think Brandon needs to get with the program and realize she's got a good guy in front of her, and it sounds like she's trying to or came to that realization. But I think she really needs to like remember why she's there and sort of like lean into this process.
Sure. Trust the process.
Right. And stop being so cuckoo.
Okay.
Anywho. Then there's Tyler and Isabella. I think they need to stop talking and more doing.
Yes, a little less
Enough.
conversation, a little more action. They need to have sex.
They basically have to have sex.
That's what I think.
They're like that couple in Forgetting Sarah Marshall that like doesn't know how to have sex. And
Yes, the honeymooners. And they
weird.
kind of look, they look like that other couple that flies under the radar. But my advice goes to Jonna and Brandon. I think Brandon really has a great guy in front of her. I think her issues are not crazy. She's just a little guarded. And I think he is the guy. It's like when this is the couple that someone comes into your life for a reason, they are them. And I think if she just realizes that he is this guy to help her, he will do that, and they could be really good. I think. I really do. I think I'm rooting for them. They're my fave.
Well, I hope he doesn't get sick of her shit. Oops.
I
I said it.
I
I'm so
know,
sorry.
Jen. God, you're the swearer this time.
I
This is
know.
not
It's
normal
because
for you.
I'm like very annoyed.
This is a passionate show. This brings out the passion in
Yes,
us.
because it's because I like him and I feel like he's really showing up for her.
I agree.
And I feel like she needs to really get with the program.
He
here.
is the best guy on the show, I think.
Yeah,
And
same.
Chris is the hottest, but Jonna is the best guy on the show. It really does kind of like bring the passion out in us. We love talking about
We're
stuff
rooting.
like this. We are relationship experts on our show. And where can everyone find you, Jen, and our show?
You can find me at Jenifer Golden on all the social media platforms and right here at 6 p.m. on Wednesdays on our show, It's Complicated.
Yes, at Complicated Show on all the social medias. Tune in, listen, and watch. We talk about relationships and break down things like that all the time. This show is perfect for us. That's why we're so passionate about it.
Oh, yeah. Where can people find you?
I am Lauren Leonelli. You can find me at Lauren Leonelli on all the social medias. And next week, Allie will be back. The band will be together. There will be a panel of all three of us here to break down episode 4 and maybe 5. We don't know yet. Or no, just 4. Episode 4. And we're gonna get into it. It's gonna be fun.
Oh yeah, and thanks guys, everybody in the chat room for chiming in tonight. It's so fun to see everyone is really not happy with Brandon.
Yes. And thank you so much for tuning in and listening and watching here at AfterBuzz TV. We're so happy to bring this after show to you. We love the show. We know you guys do too. So make sure you rate and listen and share and tell a friend.
And subscribe.
And subscribe, you guys. All right, we'll be back next week. See you later.
Our founder, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.